What's happening? Yesterday I was looking for some inspiration for today's video, and I was watching a video on sort of different kinds of things in a relationship and why some people are unable to find love. And one of the points that it won't be related to the video at all, but it was that the creator mentioned how we've skewed and misconstrued a lot of sort of terms we use in life, and sort of we're using them wrong, and sometimes we're using them really wrong where we've sort of changed the whole meaning of it. So today I picked out sort of like 10 words, and we're going to break down what the world sort of use, how they use them and what they are to people, and what the actual meaning is, and how we have to take in these real meanings to sort of actually use these words in correct context. Like we said the other day, the world needs context, and the right context, not these sort of throwaway terms which we're using falsely. So these misconstrued terms, they're words that we think we understand until we actually need to know what they mean. So the first one I'm going to start with is love. We think love is sort of just a feeling or a romantic attachment to someone that we care about, when really love is a massive commitment. It's the effort, the presence, and the discipline you show to be there for someone that you really care about. Feelings towards people, they come and go, but when you love someone, you endure through the action of highs and lows, and you keep that feeling of love towards that person. Loyalty. Loyalty is sort of a blind allegiance to the person, or it's the case of, are you just staying around to seem loyal? We saw it in 2018 Love Island. Georgia Steele. It was her tag. Oh, I'm loyal, babe. Are you? Because what I've seen in the world recently is that you're not. The real meaning is that we don't need to suffer in silence. What we need to do is show up with integrity, honesty, and care, even if it's uncomfortable. The next one is vulnerability. And the way that we all describe it now is that it's a weakness, when it's not. It's definitely not. It's far from not. It's a superpower. Vulnerability, it's one of the strongest things that you have in your inventory, your armory, that you carry with yourself every day to carry yourself and operate at the highest level of being. Being vulnerable is courageous, and it's how we build trust, not how we break it. The next one is success. And a lot of people see success of having a lot of money, being a high status in a corporation, in meaning, or just having a massive following where people ever know your name. They seem to think that if people know you are, you're successful, when sometimes people could know your name for the wrong reason and not being successful, and sort of taking advantage and doing the wrong thing. Success is about alignment. It's sort of the peace of mind that you create for yourself, how you create success for yourself, living the life that you want to live without doing any wrongdoing. It's how you feel most fulfilled, and it's how you live true to yourself, not just the algorithm and blueprint that life has been put in front of you to go follow this. It's about following your own path and guiding yourself to make the right decisions. The next one as well, it's been quite heavy as well for recently. It would be, you see a lot of people pushing it in the media and stuff, is self-love. And this channel is about sort of self-help, and really this channel is sort of me just speaking my own truths, as well as trying my best to help other people. But you see a lot of people right now pushing all the self-love of themselves and onto others. And a lot of people say also about cutting the wrong people off and just relaxing, when really it's about holding accountability for yourself, showing up for yourself, keeping promises to yourself, and how you can heal without then hurting others as a consequence. There's also the idea of masculinity and femininity, where people just sort of see it as a gender role or aesthetic trait, when really they're energies that everyone carries part of each one. It's a strength and softness that coexist between everyone. Like for me, I would say that I'm quite in touch with my feminine side. Like I people would see being vulnerable as being feminine, but I'm quite open with it. I sort of speak my mind more than maybe some other men do, and there's been a heavy push on men's mental health recently, and I'm happy about that, because obviously it was being overlooked, and now people are realizing that these things these energies are molded together and are important for both men and women. There's also the idea of forgiveness, where people would say just sort of let them off the hook, when really when you forgive someone, you're forgiving them for yourself, not for them. So if they say sorry and you go, that's all right, you're doing that for yourself and your peace of mind, where you've released the pain that's hurting you. You've sort of they think that you're saying no problem and then there's nothing to worry about. But the main thing is you gain nothing from forgiving apart from for yourself. So that's why we do it. We forgive for our own benefit. We can also look at boundaries, and people would look at boundaries as sort of being cold, distant, and selfish towards people, when really boundaries are the clarity of life. They're the conditions that allow us to live our lives and function at the best level possible. And then I also wanted to sort of approach the angle of sort of slang terms that have been massively misconstrued in life. And sometimes when I hear people talk about them, like, it actually actively frustrates me, because I'm like, come on, like, what are you talking about? The biggest one, and this is one where every single time it comes up, I go like, at your age, because really this shouldn't even be a topic of conversation for someone in their 20s, because it's silly. And that's red flags. Red flags now to people are the petty preferences and the social media cliches, where people have said, I don't like this one thing about this one person, and now because of that I'm never going to like them, I'm never going to find them attractive, and they're a problem. When really red flags, what they are, they're patterns of, and they're not isolated moments, they're things that keep coming up and that are actually at a detriment to people's safety. Not just if their hair looks stupid, if their clothes are not the person's style. They're consistent behaviours that signal this misalignment, where you actually have to question if something is actively wrong or dangerous and a threat to you. Also, insecurities. People think insecurities are a weakness to hide or fix, when really insecurities show you where you need some compassion and not shame. And it's part of being human. We all need insecurities, because we're not all confident. We're not all able to sort of just put ourselves out there and participate actively at the highest level. And it's not a flaw though, so we've got to keep going. There's also the term of toxicity, where people think it's anything that you don't like. Manipulation, and this is the same with gaslighting. Another one would be triggering, where it's being overly sensitive, and it's a trauma response. And this is our nervous system protecting itself from feeling pain.